Oh, it is that time, that magical time of evening, when I lay out all the goings on to weave together in a beautiful tapestry of freedom as we save this country together, delivered in a manner fit for you to share out and go across this incredible nation. Y'all, you are watching something that is really on the fly, but I cannot wait until to hear what you guys think about all the commentary we're going to talk about. Guys, they lost $1 billion. How does one lose $1 billion? I mean, it's like, it was right here. Yeah, we dodged a bullet with old Timmy Walls in Minnesota, didn't we? Tell you what, you guys can let me know what you think as you get in here in the comments and the chats, the emojis. Make the entire world go around. Of course, everything will be linked in the description box below. And if you're enjoying the show or you're new here, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on. This is something that we are trying to put together to genuinely give you the information that you need to save this country together, and we will do it. All right, we got people getting in here. Audio, video looks good on my end. How is it on y'all's? And then we will dive right in. All right, we have got some great stuff. Good, audio, video is working. I love when it works quick and a plan comes together. Now, you guys know that I always open up with what's the best way to say it? I say appetizer a lot. Sometimes it's a smorgasbord. We're going back with appetizer, though. I think it's right for this one. An appetizer of crazy, as everyone filters in. Because this one right here, if I had to encapsulate stupid, I think this might be it. Now, this is the Seattle mayor, so that kind of is like a prerequisite. But it goes to something bigger and deeper that we're going to talk about after this clip is over. I want you to pay attention very closely to what this guy says about criminals. Yep. If you live in a blue state or blue city, congratulations, this is what your people are doing. All right, get your people. Watch this.
The criminal system has had a disparate impact on black and brown communities. Let me lead with that. So when this person is committing 6 or 7 crimes, I don't know his or her story. Maybe they were abused as a child. Maybe they're hungry. So my remedy is to find their life story to see how we could help first. I have no desire to put them in jail. But I need to protect you, and that's the calibration that we have, the criminal.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I'll say it for the guys in the back, those damn calibrations, I tell you what, they get in the way every time of my liberal worldview. What? Okay, again, we're going to break this down because this is such a great opener. If you guys are not familiar with the show, this is just the beginning. So let's get into it. It's a worldview that is bent around avoidance of accountability and acceptance of laissez-faire responsibility. It is literally something that you cannot have consequences because consequences are mean. Because people will have the bad feels and will need to get emotional boo-boos for the bad feels. And emotional band-aids for the emotional boo-boos for the bad feels. Because it would be so mean to arrest someone after they've had 6 or 7 crimes. That would be awful. What would you do? Could you imagine how they would feel? I don't give a crap how they feel. They affected their own desires on other people through criminal activity at the tune of 6 to 7 times per your own example. The answer from me is not going to be what went wrong in your past to make you lash out in this way. Maybe we can have that conversation while you work out a really lengthy prison sentence. Because you clearly can't be held accountable to not take your pain out on other people. So therefore, you're going to bear the consequences of your continuation of the same system that you're perpetuating. Great job, everyone, as Ben Shapiro likes to say. 6 to 7 times? Maybe they were hungry. Hey, maybe go grab a sandwich. Oh my goodness gracious, they had a rough childhood. Yeah, I mean, come on. Really? Okay, anyway, you guys get the idea. What a golly. This is why we're going to win. Openly and overtly, I always say this. Give them a microphone. All you got to do is give clowns like this a microphone, and they do the work for us. More microphones, let's go. All right, let's keep on going, though, because this is going to be one you guys are going to enjoy. Let me do my little statement in the chat over here. Hold on one second, because chats, emojis, I can't talk about something else while I type. It's just, I have a problem. And comments make the world go round. All right, we're going to pin this bad boy to the top so you guys know the mission and you know how we share this out. But let's get back into it. I've got to do a recap. We have more updates on this one. All right, y'all. The Christmas gift that Jasmine Crockett and her hubris has delivered to you is going to be Incredible. To the point where now we've got well-known far-left political hack accounts openly saying, can we please not? They all know. I know. You know. We know collectively. We're pointing and laughing and encouraging it. Please, God, do it. Because Jasmine Crockett, Jazzy, as I like to call her, has decided that she's going to win the Texas Senate race. Yeah. Those two guys on the right, man, they must be really pissed tonight. Anyway, let's keep on going because I want to show you a few things that are essential to this point. And I hit this one in my video earlier today. Let me know in the comments in the chat if you were there for that one. This is Chris Matthews, okay? Chris Matthews is the dude who literally had a, quote, thrill up his leg when Obama got elected. I mean, like, we're not talking about a righty, okay? He's talking about the overall Democrat ideal, the overall Democrat perception, and the concept between the far left MSNBC, MS Now crowd and the everyone else who has a job crowd. I mean, like, honestly, right? But listen to the difference, okay? This is key, and then we'll go. We've got so much good stuff for you.
What do you think now? Can the Democratic Party that now has to cater to MS Now, that is the audition to be in the Democratic Party and a national figure in the Democratic Party, if you have the people at MS Now who are there...
Clearly, that's a problem. Clearly, if you play to them, you're going to lose the general election, probably, unless you have a very blue district or state. This is a problem. And I look at them lining up, and when they make these statements, I go, that's for MSNBC. That's not for the electorate. And that's a problem. But I'm a moderate, so I disagree with those people. I'm not a Bernie Sanders guy. That's not. But Bernie Sanders would say, same thing. Go with the left in the primary and go to the left in the general. But I'd ask you, when does the left ever win a general?
Good point, Chris. Good point. All right, y'all, listen. This is the key point that you have to understand as we go forward. And again, this is why I'm so confident we're going to win in the end. Our country is going to be saved by people like you because you know the following things. The left is going to push the Democrat Party to unobtainable levels. They're going to win in blue cities and blue states, and they are going to extrapolate that in their brains to say, oh, the country and nation must be ready for far left blue policies because everyone loves socialism. And then they're going to run to it like a moth to a flame, and they're going to hit their face on a rake so hard that it's going to be like one of those cartoons where they have like the rake indents on their face, because the general population does not do extremes. It doesn't do extreme to the right. It doesn't do extreme to the left. This is literally politics 101. But the MSNBC, MS Now litmus test that he's talking about is the only way you get a primary is if you go into the Democrat circles of MS Now. I hate that name. MS Now, and really prove your bona fides to the liberal socialist order, to the proletariat and the struggle against the bourgeoisie and the other crap. You know, like dudes can be women and stuff. I mean, like, please, just clear the way, give them microphones and let them run all the way to the left. I'm so excited. And by the way, they will win some races, but they're not going to win the ones they need. All right, let's keep on going. I also touched on this. Chris Cillizza. This guy is a former CNN pundit. He went independent, and all of a sudden he got like independent again. But listen to what he says about the Jasmine Crockett thing. Again, I'm rehashing one or two of these clips, and then we're going to get the new stuff, just for those people who missed the earlier video. Let's get it, Chris.
This will be already, because of the Republican race between Cornyn, Paxton, and Hunt, it was already going to be, I think, one of the best races in the country. Democrats believe, and I think rightly, that if Paxton wound up as the nominee, he's extremely controversial. He's basically the Donald Trump of Texas, that they would have a chance with either Tallarico or Allred. They would have an actual puncher's chance of winning a Senate seat in Texas in November 2026. If Crockett is the nominee, I think that is going to be extremely, extremely difficult, even if Paxton is the Republican nominee. Like I said, I'm going to explain in a second. Before I do that, I want to make a pitch to you. I hope you subscribe to my...
Absolutely not, Chris. You will not get the subscription pitch to my people. I care about them too much. I cannot allow them to be duped by your pitch. But anyway, in all reality, guys, if you thought that there was a question if the Republicans were going to win or lose Texas in the Senate race, Jasmine Crockett jumping in here is literally like a godsend, manna from heaven. I mean, in that case, it wouldn't even be like sending prayers up to heaven. It would be like calling on the direct line, be like, God, we could do something about this. God's like, I got you. Jazzy's in. I mean, like, guys, it's so great. Anyway, let's keep on going. We're going to have some fun together. I don't know why I feel it. I feel this is going to be a really good live stream. All right. Because we're just now getting rolling. Polling USA, ironically stationed in Canada from where they're from, per the, Elon Musk location drops. Polling USA says, LMAO, guys, come on, about Jasmine Crockett. So wait a minute, they're laughing at each other and they're saying, please don't do this while she's about to declare? Okay. No, let her keep going. Give them microphones. Here's another lefty. That turquoise shimmer you see on the horizon, is Blexus receding another decade into the distance. Yeah, that's amazing. Let's keep on going. Get another one. Basil says the dim Tea Party giveth and the dim Tea Party taketh away. Y'all, even they freaking know. And her hubris is not going to let her stop. The cat's already out of the bag. This woman knows no bounds for her aspirations for herself. You can see through all of her social media dancing around how she code switches from really, really lowbrow language. That was nice. And then really normal language like she does, like she speaks in the, lawyer setting. She's a profession. I mean, like, it's literally, it's so bad. The clips are limitless, but again, they taketh and they giveth. All right. As you guys are in here, we are about to do something that is going to be so beautiful. And it stacks upon Jazzy. Oh, Jasmine Crockett. God, the gift that keeps on giving. She's like a dumb version of AOC, honestly. But anyway, this guy. We're about to go into the actual, the demolition of the Democratic viewpoint, because you're about to watch exactly what the leftists are pushing for U.S. Senate in Maine. And all the other far lefties are all pushing this same crap. Now, we're going to go through a little bit of history right here. He's going to openly say his policies. And I want to show you what the Senate candidate at the Democrat National Committee is trying to oust Graham Plattner from the Maine Senate seat. Because guess what? He's the only far-left Democrat that is polling to lose against Susan Collins. Rhino extraordinaire Susan Collins. These are 6-year seats, which is why they're losing their minds. But if you guys are enjoying the content, you want to save this country, you're enjoying the delivery, occasionally the flub, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on. We are in this together, and comments, chats, and emojis make the world go round. Let's get it. Take it away, Senate candidate for Maine for the progressive left, Graham Plattner. Listen to this.
I'm a firm believer in like FDR's economic Bill of Rights. I think that had we done that when he wanted to, we would live in a very different country today. In guaranteeing work, guaranteeing housing, guaranteeing healthcare, guaranteeing safety for retirement.
Okay, let's just set up camp on this for 1 second. You remember that whole Democrat talking point of we're not socialist and we don't believe in the command and control economy and capitalism is actually the best. We just need a kind of like an emotional support capitalism where there's lots of, generosity for the Somali immigrants in Minnesota to take $1 billion from children health care funds. That's coming in a second. Well, I guess that kind of goes out the window with the guy running for Maine Senate in the Democrat side of the aisle for the progressive far left, because he just said, and I quote, guaranteeing of a, you know what? I'm going to let him do it again. Make sure we do this right, because this is FDR's economic Bill of Rights. By the way, FDR's economic Bill of Rights, just like him packing the court, was shut down even by Team Blue. Okay. All right. Let's get it again. I want to pay attention to the things that are guaranteed by the government.
There's economic Bill of Rights. I think that had we done that when he wanted to, we would live in a very different country today. In guaranteeing work, guaranteeing housing, guaranteeing healthcare, guaranteeing safety for retirement.
Okay, guaranteeing work, guaranteeing housing, guaranteeing healthcare, and guaranteeing retirement. Okay, for the people in the back, maybe someone's a lot smarter than me. I mean, I guarantee someone's out there's a lot smarter than me. But anyway, if you're going to be guaranteed a job and you're going to be guaranteed housing, So that means no rent, no mortgage, no buying any personal property. Well, that's pretty much abolition of a free market. You're guaranteed a job because the government's going to what? Mandate it? And where's the government getting the tax base from? So the government creates jobs, hires people off of the taxpayers, who then it hires again, it pays them, and it just goes in a circle like this? Because that's not wealth creation. That's cycling through reused water is what that is, right? So then there's also guaranteed health care, which is another expenditure, and then there's guaranteed retirement. So you're going to get housing, a job, retirement, and health care. All of it is going to be provided by the government. This is the modern Democrat that's going, yep, absolutely, we believe in capitalism and we are not socialist. That is crazy. We would never do anything socialist. The guy literally just listed out the FDR's economic plan. This is progressive far left socialism 101. Government has all the means of production completely. Also communism. And then the means of production are distributed. That's exactly what you're dealing with. All right, I got some super chats though. Hold on a second. We are going to have some fun with these super chats because I think you guys are as fired up as I am. All right, I got 2 of them. Wait, where'd the other one go? I swear I saw a third one. Maybe I just saw one. Okay, let's go. Gigi has got your back with another $5 super chat. Same as last night. Thank you, Gigi. Back to back. I appreciate it. Dems just don't get that they are playing Candyland and Trump is playing chess. Trump's playing something, and I'll tell you, I can't guarantee what he's playing, but I can tell you the Democrats are playing Candyland. That's a pretty good. The chutes and ladders, monkeys in a barrel, whatever it is. It's rough. But anyway, so that's them not being socialists while they espouse socialist beliefs. But let's keep on going, because again, this is why they're going to lose. This is the point. They're going to lose this, and this go big for this one. They're going to lose their big push because something happened. And let me hear you in the comments, in the chat, if you remember this, if you see this, if you saw this, if you're paying attention with me. The Democrats had nothing at all. They were $20 million to figure out why men wouldn't vote for him. So then they sent the testosterone-less wonders out, and that's somehow they think that's going to work. That's not going to work. And then they couldn't get an approval rating above, a dead pulse. Yeah, that didn't change. Then Epstein came along, and everything was about Epstein. Epstein. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. Epstein, everything. Magically, you haven't heard a single peep about Epstein for the last 3 to 4 days, have you? Maybe it's because Hakeem Jeffries, Plaskett, and some other Democrats were directly tied to it, and Jamie Raskin was saying that Jeffrey Epstein was texting her in a congressional hearing, and she was just a constituent. Remember that? It's weird how it just kind of vaporized, and when that vaporized, they're back to spinning their wheels on stupid. Have you caught that? This is why I pay attention to these things, guys, because they're now back to complete and total lunacy. I haven't even gotten to the $1 billion that's missing from stealing from children because the Somalis in Minnesota decided that they were going to take advantage of it. Again, this is New York Times reporting, not mine. I'm just doing the lead up. All right, watch this. I want you to pay attention to what Jonathan Karl says about something. Sorry, let's get over here. ABC News, Jonathan Karl. This is about the immigrant situation that Biden brought over 90,000 Afghans. Listen to this, all right? Let's see what he says. I want you to listen to his language.
Biden administration has actually said is that they did vet these people in third-party countries before coming into the United States. But you just said that he was radicalized here in the United States. So is it our understanding that the issue, his intent happened here? This was not something he came to the United States with an intent to carry out attacks like this?
All right. Did you catch the framing there? Because now it's not about the fact that he did it. It's not about the fact what he was screaming when he did it. Like Allahu Akbar. It's not about what he was saying and not about what he did. And it's not about the fact that there was a gun in a gun-free zone. And it's not about the fact that this guy shot openly 2 National Guard members. One has passed away and the other is still struggling. It's not about any of those things. It's about when was he radicalized. Because after all, if he was radicalized after he got into the country, then mass immigration is totally fine. Nothing is going wrong at all. What about that guy on Tuesday that was caught saying he was going to bomb Texas? Don't talk about that. Y'all, it is literally the stupidest stuff. Children would fall for this. Oh, well, it matters where he was radicalized, because if he was good coming in but then got radicalized here, maybe America's the problem again. Jonathan Carl, get out of here. Got some super chats. Thank you very much for Kristen Massa. It's 8728 with a $5 with a little cute little puppy thing. And then Nick TD with a $10 super chat says, these same Democrats also think they will get the best of everything. They haven't figured out they aren't part of the chosen club either. No, they haven't, because in socialism, there's a very powerful elite that turns out to get all the goodies, and when you say anything, they kill you. But yeah, capitalism is evil. All right, let's keep on going. You guys are getting me spicy. Y'all getting me spicy up in here. Oh, this is the fun part. Speaking of money. If you guys are enjoying this, by the way, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on. I try to articulate and espouse the points of freedom in a delicious, shareable way. And we are weaving a tapestry of freedom together. Let's get into it. U.S. tariff revenue surged 281% year over year in October to a record $34.2 billion. My God, that's a lot of billions. And that's going to pay down the debt, the thing that we need to get rid of? Go on. Okay. Over the 3 months ending October, customs and certain excise taxes reached $96.8 billion, more than the entire fiscal year 2024. Almost $100 billion in the fiscal year. $100 billion. Y'all, at that rate, we're paying off over $1 trillion a year on our national debt, and we're at 30 trillion. I mean, I'm all for getting rid of all of it quickly, but $1 trillion a year is a pretty good clip. All right. This builds, I already told you that one. No, I didn't. This builds on total customs and excise tax revenues of $215.2 billion in fiscal year 2025, which ended September 30. To put this into perspective, by the way, remember that whole the leftist argument that corporations don't pay any taxes and they get all the money and they hate the workers and everyone hates everybody? You know, that whole talking point that turns out to be not true. Watch this. To put this into perspective, corporate income taxes collected in fiscal year 2025 were $452 billion. $500 billion were collected in 2025. $500 billion. Yeah, the corporations don't pay any taxes. Well, where'd that $500 billion come from? And also, those tariffs that you said were going to crash the economy, which led to the greatest, well, it didn't lead to, but the occurrence of the greatest Black Friday on record, plus 9.1%. Where'd all this go? Okay. $215 billion versus $452 billion. So far in fiscal year 2026, which began on October 1, the government has collected $41.6 billion in corporate income taxes, just 22% more than tariff revenue. Tariff revenue is skyrocketing. Let me translate that out for you. The crowd that says corporate taxes and corporations aren't paying any taxes, the Republicans under Donald Trump literally just doubled the revenues almost coming into the Treasury by foreign nations paying the tariffs. Holy crap. There goes the it can't be done thing. All right, let's keep on going because we're about to have some real fun. Oh, CNN. Oh, CNN. And if you guys are enjoying this, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on, because there was a very, very big boycott that happened on Black Friday that didn't work. Watch this. CNN Bakari Sellers. This is a CNN, what's the word they use? Contributor. Yeah, a CNN contributor that goes all about Team Blue, no matter what, on CNN, says that Black Americans will not be supporting any businesses that have been donating to anything Trump related. All right, let's hear him out. And by the way, just watch for the raked him in the face again.
Latasha Brown, Black Voters Matter. We ain't buying it. Are launching a movement this Black Friday and going forward about stores that are contributing to things like Donald Trump's inauguration and all of these things, which we feel like, or the library, which we feel like are not necessarily conducive to the policies that would move people forward. And so this weekend, Black folk are flexing their buying power and saying, we ain't buying it.
All right, Scott.
They ain't buying it. They ain't doing it. They are going to flex their spending power and their buying power, which is really, to me, personal side note on this before we continue. I find it really weird orienting boycotts specifically only based on race in 2025. Like, I understand the origin of boycotting and it was effectively used in the 1960s civil rights movement, and that makes a little more sense. But in 2025, it feels kind of archaic to target only certain demographic blocks and then go, and you guys are going to melt the economy, and then they don't. Because it's a little uncomfortable, particularly since Bakari Sellers here is advocating for we ain't buying it for anybody who contributed to Donald Trump's inauguration. Well, that would be Apple, Facebook, X, what's some other ones? Amazon. So they're not contributing to any of them. Okay, what do you bet? Oh, and Microsoft? What do you bet this guy has either an Android or an iPhone in his pocket while he's literally saying this crap? Come on. I mean, just come on. Just be serious, please. All right. Another super chat right here. To who is the checks written to pay our debts? I saw that trap, James Hammond. I see that trap. And Gene Walker with a $1.99. Thank you very much, guys. All right. Now we're just going to pour it on before we get to the just where did my $1 billion go? Just in, the experts suffer a stunning blow this Black Friday weekend, the White House confirms. See, I told you guys about this last night, but it turns out the White House is now very elated about, a 9.1% increase over last Black Friday. I mean, like, if you're Team Democrat, how do you wake up and go, all right, our boycott's going to be great today. We're going to melt the economy and really stick it to Trump. Where's the most recent figures? Ah, shit. I mean, it increased by 9.1%, and it set a record of $11.8 billion. Did we not send out the memos? Yeah, no, you sent them out, just no one cares. Sorry. All right, take it away, White House.
The fact is that we just had the best Black Friday that we've ever seen. And it's not just because people are out there, taking debt on their credit cards. It's because incomes are way up under President Trump. They dropped about $3,000 a person, $6,000 a family under Joe Biden. And it's up $1,500 a person so far this year. And with all that extra money and with the government shutdown over so people feel comfortable going back to stores, that we're seeing a really blowout, Thanksgiving and Christmas coming our way. I think all the retailers expect that both online and in-store sales are going to be the highest we've ever seen. And the point is that that's happening even though inflation is way, way down under President Trump. And it was 5-10% under Biden, and right now it's running at about 2.5%. And it's not, it's way lower than wage growth. Right? And so people's incomes are going up by way more than inflation.
Okay. I'm going to be real for a second. This guy was way too happy to be talking about that like that. It felt kind of like manna from heaven. He's like, yes! Oh, anyway, here's the thing with this. You guys are already getting ready to rip Tampon Timmy. That was funny. That was a super chat, YouTube. It wasn't my fault. All right. This is the thing. Of course, there are still residual pressures from COVID. There are still residual pressures in the economy. Pricing is still high. It is reducing, but it is not reducing quick enough for a lot of people. And I completely understand that. It is still expensive to live. I get it 100%. But if you're seeing hard data numbers that are showing a declining buying power of $6,000 under the Biden administration, you're seeing record economic activity, and you're seeing it go from negative 600 to plus 1,500 in take home. I mean, like, it's not done, but it's a step in the right direction. You got tariffs dropping in that are bringing in almost, $250 billion or $415 billion. Hold on, now I got to look. Sorry, I got to look. I got to be right. I owe you guys the accuracy of, $215 billion. Yeah, right there. $215 billion. You love every second. You love to see it. But that's the whole point. It is actively working, and now that the Democrats have magically all of a sudden dropped the Epstein thing, because it doesn't matter anymore, magically, it probably has nothing to do with the fact that they were all in those emails, now they got nothing again. Yes, wonders never cease. All right, I got a couple more super chats. I'm just now getting energetic and spicy. I'm getting my rhythm. I hope you guys are down for the ride, because it's about to get real fun with $1 billion missing. No Sam for 6002 with a $10 super chat says Tampon Timmy. Actually, you spelled it Tampoon Timmy. I think I know what you meant. Is a cross between Biden Deuce and a Harris word salad. I like that. That's good. Texas T with a $10 super chat said Dems, we're going to boycott your store. Oh, can't read the rest of that one. Texas T, you gonna get me in trouble. You got 25% of that one. Good Lord. Man. Someone just said something about something that I don't want to know about. All right, we're going to keep on going, though. Y'all getting spicy over here in the comments. All right, so here you go. Here's more evidence of what's happening out here in these streets. Black Friday shoppers spent billions despite wider economic uncertainty. By the way, Republican in office, Black Friday shoppers spent billions despite wider economic uncertainty. Democrat in office, Black Friday shoppers spent billions upon billions upon billions of dollars in an effort to prove how Joe Biden is not dead. I mean, like, honest to God, like, come on, guys, at least try to act impartial. But anyway, I think I had some stuff down here. No, I didn't. It's the next one. Let's keep on going. All right, got another super chat right over here. Gigi has your back again with a $10 super chat. Gonna volunteer here in Texas to make sure Jasmine Crockett. I can't do the nicknames, guys. Some of them are bad. Jasmine Crockett gets nowhere near our Senate seat. She is the reason there are warning labels on shampoo bottles. That's true. Hard to argue that. Hey, you know what else is hard to argue? Stealing $1 billion from children is pretty shitty. All right, let's keep on going. Here we go. The biggest pandemic fraud in America, the reason you guys came here, the reason for the title and the thumbnail, $1 billion stolen from Children's Aid in Minnesota, and no one stopped it. Man, I'll tell you what, that is rough. Let's jump right down here. This is incredible. It's from the New York Times. I didn't even do it. Okay? The result, one of the largest thefts of taxpayer money in U.S. history, buried under layers of fear, identity politics, and political paralysis. Now, over 80 people have been charged, most of them of Somali American, and Wall's government is scrambling to explain how it happened. This wasn't a loophole, it was a political choice to do nothing. Yeah, we're about to rock this one. Ron DeSantis. If even the New York Times is calling out the Somali welfare fraud and Democrats who enabled it, it must be really sad. Well said, Ron. Very astute of you. You are correct. I'm going to show you the guy, the man, the everyday man's man model that Davey Hogg and all the lefties told us was going to be the best choice for vice president because it was just so genuine and the hope was so real. Oh my God. So much compassion, joy, hope and joy. All right. Well, enough of me. All right.
Dozens of people of East African descent have been charged, convicted, and sentenced for stealing more than $1 billion in taxpayer money from government programs during COVID. As you know, Governor, that is more than Minnesota spends each year to run its Department of Corrections. So I want to give you a chance to respond to this. Do you take responsibility for failing to stop this fraud in your state?
Okay. So, for you guys who are at home, the question here was, do you take responsibility for the fraud and stealing from children's health care that happened in your state as you are the sitting governor?
Well, certainly I take responsibility for putting people in jail. Governors don't get to just talk theoretically. We have to solve problems. And I will note, it's not just Somalis. Minnesota is a generous state. Minnesota is a prosperous state, a well-run state. We're AAA bond rated, but that attracts criminals. Those people are going to jail. We're doing everything we can. But to demonize an entire community on the actions of a few, it's lazy.
Dozens of people.
It's lazy, guys. I'm being lazy right now. Yeah. I'm being lazy by pointing out the fact that the bureaucratic morass state that is Minnesota, one of the far lefty ones, the only one that managed to vote for Walter Mondale in a Reagan 49-1, slaughtering. Guys, generosity, it just brings in criminals. It's just, I'm not responsible for their behavior. I'm only responsible for putting them in jail. Hey, this seems to be a full circle. What did we ask if they were hungry? Because I think did we ask what it was like for them that day when they thought about sending fraudulent receipts and fraudulent invoices to defraud the state of Minnesota to the tune of $1 million? Did we ask how their emotional boo-boos were? Because, I mean, really, if we don't do that, we're doing a disservice because it's a disparate impact on people of certain descents. Give them microphones and let them do it. Okay, back to the man's man over here. The guy literally is running Minnesota. We are AAA bond rate. Not for long with this kind of crap, you're not going to be. $1 billion that was going to children autism, was going to child aid, child welfare. And the people who were doing it were in your state. And apparently, according to the New York Times, everyone freaking knew about it, but no one was brave enough to say anything because of you don't want to offend somebody and be a ist. Okay. All right. How fraud swamped Minnesota's social services system on Tim Walz's watch. Yep, that's not Breitbart. That is the New York Times up here. Sweet Lord. So if you live in Minnesota, $1 billion of your taxes were just stolen by 80 different Somalis who were Somali American. I don't care about any of that piece. These individuals who literally defrauded the state, and your answer is, well, we put them in jail. What about the $1 billion that you overtaxed the citizens of Minnesota, you dolt? All right, let's continue. God, that guy was almost vice president. Got a few more things for you. The breaking news right here. The fraud scandal that rattled Minnesota was staggering in its scale and brazenness. Yeah, it's amazing to be brazen when you have no consequences. Federal prosecutors charged dozens of people with felonies, accusing them of stealing hundreds of millions of dollars from a government program meant to keep children fed during the COVID-19 pandemic. Man, great job, everybody. Over the last 5 years, law enforcement officials say fraud took root in pockets of Minnesota's Somali diaspora as scores of individuals, that means 20s, scores of individuals made small fortunes by setting up companies that billed state agencies for millions of dollars worth of social services that were never provided. They're just making up fake invoices in Minnesota for 5 years is just writing the checks. Federal prosecutors say that 59 people have been convicted in these schemes so far and that more than $1 billion in taxpayer money has been stolen in 3 plots they're investigating. And that's only the ones they've investigated. This is the New York Times. Outrage has swelled among Minnesotans. Shocking. And fraud has turned into a potent political issue in a competitive campaign season. Shouldn't it always be a potent political issue? Shouldn't it just be a human issue? Maybe not a political issue in election year. Maybe the people of Minnesota might be a little bit pissed that $1 billion of their income was taken by the state and then it was allowed to be stolen by fulfilling invoices that weren't even followed up on. Great job, Timmy. In recent days, President Trump has weighed in, calling Minnesota a hub of fraudulent money laundering activity and saying that Somali perpetrators should be sent back to where they came from. Come on, $80 billion? The episode has raised broader questions. $1 billion. $80 billion was something else. The episode has raised broader questions for some residents about the sustainability of Minnesota's Scandinavian-modeled system of robust safety net programs bankrolled by high taxes. Does it? Okay, just had to do that for dramatic effect. Because, wow, you'd think that you'd get there. So wait, you're getting smoked and bankrolling high taxes for a social Scandinavian model system of robust safety net programs that are being defrauded because the people who are taking your money are also too inept to make sure it's not going to fraud. More liberalism, please. Good God. That system helped create an environment that drew immigrants to the state over many decades. A massive social network, safety net system, Scandinavian style delivery, and it brought in a lot of people that were from foreign-born nations to get the free goodies? Who would have seen that coming? You did. This is not hard. You offer people free stuff, you're going to have people pile in. This is the whole reason that the whole safety net Scandinavian thing exists, to pile more people in so you get them on the dole so they would never vote against you because you're giving them all their stuff. Again, please see, not that guy, that's a woman, not that woman, not that one, this one. Wait for it, it'll come up. All right, that's the FDR Economic Bill of Rights. Guaranteed job, guaranteed housing, guaranteed healthcare, guaranteed retirement? That sounds a whole lot like this. But what could go wrong when humans are involved? Goodness gracious. I'll tell you what, you guys are either geniuses or there's no one, everyone else is real dumb. That's weird. Quote, this sentence, actually this paragraph. Quote, no one will support these programs if they continue to be riddled with fraud. Joseph H. Thompson, the federal prosecutor who was overseeing the fraud cases, said in the interview, we're losing our way of life in Minnesota in a very real way. You mean that no one is going to enjoy paying high taxes if you can't guarantee that it's not getting stolen by people sending you fraud invoices? You're paying them for 5 years because you don't want to get called a racist or offend a voting demographic block. And you wonder why people will be like, no one's going to want to pay it anymore. I didn't want to pay it to begin with. Does this mean we were right, or does this just mean they're figuring it out? It really is painful. I mean, painful. I think that's all I had. Nope, right here. Oh, this part. This is the coup de grace, cherry on top. No one was doing anything about the red flags. It was like someone was stealing money from the cookie jar, and they kept refilling it. Y'all, you can't make this stuff up. I actually have a job where I actually get to tell you this stuff and be like, hey, looky. It's truly insane. And I hope you guys are enjoying the content. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on. Comments, chats, emojis make the world go round. I got some super chats to get to, though. Hold on 1 second. This is wild. Not the chats, all the stuff. All right. Make sure I am good. You guys are going hard. You guys are going hard on these comments over here. Hold on 1 second. Let me get up to the, make sure I don't miss one. Oh, yeah, here we go. Nick TD, the $10 super chat, says Black Friday shoppers spend record amounts despite the 200% tariffs being passed directly to them. Oh, wait. Yeah, good point, Nick. Let's keep on going. Man, you guys are ripping Tim Walls up, and I am here for it. It's hilarious. Small Mouse, Big Field, $5 super chat says, how do you know a Democrat is lying? Their lips are moving. Man, I have stumbled into the true blues, or the true reds over here. I am digging it. The billions in Somalia already. Team Zipper Lips, $5 super chat says, Tennessee, after Bain, former organizer of communist orgs, she is the Dems test bed from their latest misdirection ploy trying to turn the military. Yeah, she's extremely oriented towards the communistic left, and that group is called Indivisible. I cannot, Ezra, it's not Ezra Klein. He's a different individual, Ezra something. I can't remember his name. But yeah, it's two people, and they're both communist organizers, and they ran the No Kings rally, and they also ran all the Indivisible groups. $9.99 from Night Whisper Grace says, close the damn candy store. You get a heart for that one? Night Whisper Grace, you are correct. No, you get a heart. Because the candy store is closed because Papa Trump is not having it. Oh, man. Guys, listen. You're all awesome. Love each and every one of you just the right amount that makes you feel comfortable. That's what I've got for you guys. I hope I wove that all together. It's fun to take multiple different pieces that are happening and make a complete little tapestry for you guys. A delicious meal we try to bring together with the appetizer along with the cherry on top. And I hope I did so. So make sure you hit that comment, like, subscribe, channel. Let me know if I hit that plane, if I landed the plane, if I did all the things that were necessary to make an enjoyable experience to save this country. And I will see you guys